Justin has requested me on Patreon to review the cult movie The Toxic Avenger from 1984. This is considered the flagship film of the B-movie studio Troma, who I admit to not having much experience with. I know Troma was founded by Lloyd Kaufman and was where James Gunn got his start. Troma also picked up Trey Parker's first movie, Alfred Packer the Musical, before he and Matt Stone hit it big with South Park and renamed it Cannibal the Musical. Most curiously, they handled the original American theatrical release of Hayao Miyazaki's My Neighbor Totoro, quite the far cry from the sorts of violent, grotesque movies Troma is often associated with. But as for The Toxic Avenger, I was curious to see how I would feel watching my first Troma production. Right from the start, I immediately understood the tone and intent of this movie, which is meant to be completely silly with not a serious bone in its body. From the dialogue to the acting style, it has the feel of a Mad Magazine comic, except even more adult and risque. There is an absurdity to the whole thing that I felt did manage to work, and while the characters are simply defined, I still found them compelling. The story itself seems to be a twist on the usual superhero origin story, where a regular person, in this case a meek janitor named Melvin, gains superhuman abilities following an accident. The character the Toxic Avenger probably shares the most in common with is Ben Grimm, aka Thing from the Fantastic Four, as he tries to deal with having a changed form. He's even given a blind girlfriend like Grimm. Except unlike the Marvel hero, Toxic goes around killing people, with the movie even being filmed like a slasher at times. They also take a while to reveal his face, building the anticipation and curiosity, and when we do eventually see him, it is a well-done design and makeup job. The villains become truly despicable people, and done with absolutely no subtlety, fitting the tone of the movie. They're just terrible, with a particularly memorable and horrifying scene where they play a game trying to run over people and animals. It's a demented joke that would probably not be out of place in a John Waters movie. I actually tried to find out what Waters thinks of the Toxic Avenger, as it does seem to share some of his sensibilities and themes, like people in power being depicted as more monstrous than those they pick on. However, I came up short. In addition to the health club members who bully Melvin, we also have the corrupt mayor of the town, so there's additionally a commentary on government corruption in the movie. It even throws in a chief of police who acts like a Nazi, which feels very much like a Mel Brooks gag. Despite the overall crazy tone of the movie, the relationship that forms between Toxie and his girlfriend Sarah is one I found quite sweet. Part of it is that Andrea Miranda, who plays Sarah, goes more for sincerity in her performance than goofy, although the movie nonetheless throws in some amusing physical gags for her to partake in. While The Toxic Avenger could have been a one-note movie, there is a decent variety to the jokes, as it can go from a gross-out or sexual joke to something more slapstick or visual. Lloyd Kaufman and his co-director Michael Herz knew how to use the locations in New Jersey to add to the film's comic tone, again similar to the way John Waters uses Baltimore in his movies. I think The Toxic Avenger is a movie where the absurdity of it will work for you or it doesn't. While not every joke landed, as can often veer into shock value territory, enough did provide amusement, and I felt they did fit with the B-movie aesthetics. The filmmakers also knew not to overstay their welcome, as it's a fairly basic premise with simple characters, so it clocks in a little under 80 minutes when not counting the end credits. Something I should mention is I watched the movie on Tubi, and for some reason the version on there has Spanish subtitles with no way to switch them off. Very odd. Nonetheless, they did not affect my enjoyment of the film, and I can see why it managed to find enough of an audience from video rentals and late-night cable airings to spawn 3 sequels, and even, shockingly enough, an animated series for families titled Toxic Crusaders. Okay, maybe not too shocking, considering movies like Police Academy and RoboCop were also turned into Saturday morning cartoons around that time. Of course, last week saw the release of the new remake, which I've not seen yet, but its journey to the screen has been fascinating. It spent several years in development, with Arnold Schwarzenegger even becoming a serious contender to play the lead role. The remake finally started filming in 2021, with Peter Dinklage in the lead, and after premiered at a few film festivals in 2023, sat on a shelf for a while. Whenever I saw news about it and its impending release, I was always surprised, as I thought it had already been released ages ago. But then it was finally able to find a distributor and open in theaters. Like I said, I've not watched the remake, but I might give it a look one day. As for the original, it's such a goofy film that does not take itself seriously, and I was able to get on its bizarre wavelength. Now, if you've seen The Toxic Avenger, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for the request, Justin.